Um, so all of that, but basically family.
Okay, that's fine. So one, you have a challenge of time. I was actually struggling to hear you because it was a bit low. You have a challenge of time, basically, and what else again?
I think she said family.
Family. Okay. Okay. So let's peg it at that. Okay, is there anyone who has started? And yeah, what are the challenges you're facing right now? Okay. Oh, okay, Mimi, please. Mimi, are you there? We can't hear you. I can see your hands up.
Oh, sorry. I think I did that in error. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, no worries, that's fine. All right, so well, it's good we're hearing from someone who's got an idea, but is finding it like challenging to start. So I would like I mentioned earlier on, I'm going to talk about starting up a business, bringing your business idea to life. So I'll just pull up my notes in 1 minute. Sorry. Just a minute. Okay, so just 1 minute. Okay, so basically developing your business idea. So many of us, we start off, we have this great idea in our heads, in our minds, and we feel, oh, I want to do this business. I want to solve the solution. I want to make the world a better place. We just have, these wonderful ideas that we think, oh, we need to bring to life. But like Sandra, some of us have that constraint of time. Some of us even feel like we don't even have what it takes to pull it off. And I think Sandra did mention that. And sometimes it might just be different dynamics. It might just be the time. It might just be the knowledge gap. It might be whatever it is. Think about it, that that particular challenge could be. But I will tell you that the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways to pull up our ideas, is to see an idea like a seed. You see an idea like a seed, usually the final business concepts would look nothing like the seed, but it carries the DNA of the seed carries the DNA of that final business idea. And so when we have that seed, so what normally would you do with a seed? You don't expect to like pick this seed. For example, you want to plant one corn, or you have a seed, you have some corns in your hands. You don't expect to go buy a big field, like, oh, because I have this corn that I want to plant, and of course I'm expecting to get like a lot of harvest from it, and then you go get this big field or buy land just to plant those small corns. So if you see your idea as those small seeds that you have, I'll be asking us questions as I'm going along so that we're all participating. So what would you do? Let's say you've got say 10 seeds in your hands and you want to plant this seed. Are you going to go for a field, or you're going to look for a small pot to plant those seeds first and probably maybe transplant later on?
I think I would choose a pot because they're just 10 and I don't want to make the mistake of losing them. So definitely a small surface area.
Beautiful. So with your ideas, usually when you have an idea, you don't go all out investing like, oh, okay, maybe I want to start, for example, a clothing shop, or I want to start a food business. You don't go all out buying the pots, buying the food ingredients, buying all the different types of ingredients, to start cooking, and then carry your food and say, this is customer, this is what I have. Are you interested in buying? No. Usually when you start up with your idea like that, it ends up failing. And number two, you might find out that you're offering what people don't even need. And another fact is that every seed has the potential to become a plant, but not all seeds are viable. Is that true?
So
yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head. Developing products nobody needs, and I necessitate more thinking on the idea, if I can put it that way, because there is the idea stage, which is something that sounds good in your head, but doesn't always translate to what people want. So there's an element of testing and refinement. And I think the problem with a lot of us, and me personally, when starting our business, is always the conception that what people want and the idea in our heads are the same thing, whilst they're not. So they could be two completely different things. But I think the power of having an idea is that it enables you to take that next step, to ask that next question. Okay, this is it. What does the next stage need to look like? And one thing important is looking at what you have, what resources are able to you to start that, and how much you should commit to it. Because I was just reflecting on my own journey and just thinking how an abundance of resource may have led to an over-engineering. So maybe because if I had a lot, I'll have just pumped it in quickly because I can do this, do that, and do all of these nice things. But now with very limited resource, I'm very picky about what I invest that resource in, because it's, I have very little. So where do I put it in? And am I putting it into something useful? So I'm always asking myself, what is the minimum viable product? But what is the need? So you're not developing a product for the sake of developing a product. You're developing something that meets a need.
Awesome. I think you've hit the nail on the head. So usually I would say, Sandra, you should even consider your time constraint as a blessing in a way, because when you even have an abundance of that time, for example, when you have the abundance of knowledge, you feel you have everything it takes to make the business successful, then you might find out that it doesn't even end up successful because you already have too much to make things work, and knowing where to put them, becomes a problem for you. You might just end up, doing so many things at the same time that doesn't make that business really successful. So when you have that idea, usually there are stages you start from. So imagine your idea as what's it called? As an egg in the womb. You've just conceived, or no, let me say as an egg in the womb. It needs, for example, okay, we are all adults here. It needs a sperm to, to become, for you to conceive. So in the case of an idea, what would I liken to your sperm? So your sperm would be the information that you try to get from potential customers, from people who you think you want to serve. So when you have that idea in your head, it's still in the realm of ideas, and it's so fancy, it's so wonderful. You think, oh, this is it. If you go all out, trying to implement it, you find out that it doesn't work. And that's why a lot of startups end up failing. But if you take the first step of, okay, I have this idea, talk to people, I know some of us are usually afraid. I know if I talk to someone, someone is going to steal my idea. But I bet you like 99% of the time, and I think even people who have started businesses here or have built successful businesses will tell you that when they were talking about this idea, some people didn't even understand. You know, some people thought it was going to fail. Some people thought this, some people thought that. You know, so usually when something is still in an idea stage in your head, it's not that easy to copy. Yes, it's not like people can't copy, but even if they copy, they can't, you know, do it the way you will do it. So don't be afraid to talk about your ideas, because if you don't talk about them, it's going to set you up for failure. So for example, I want to start maybe in my local area. I found out that, oh, people walk to maybe wherever, they walk 1,000,000 miles to get to where they are going. Then in my head, oh, I think if I get a means of transportation, it's going to help people, right? So now I need to know, those people who are walking, are they taking a walk because they want to do exercise and they prefer to walk? I want to know, if I'm providing a form of transportation, what kind of transportation would they need? Who are the people I want to provide this transportation for? Are they maybe high-end people who would like comfort, or are they people who just want the most basic things of life? So I need to start from this place and start talking with people, start talking with those I think would need my products, and just pick out of all those many people, pick those ones who I think are most enthusiastic about it and ask, can I provide this solution for you? Can I provide this solution for you? And sorry, let me just shut my window. My kids are downstairs. So where was I? Okay, yeah. So now you're asking this so many questions from the potential people, you know, you want to serve. So, but the way most of us as entrepreneurs attend to issues usually would be like, okay, I have this idea, this is my solution, I'll go and buy a car. Okay, everybody, I have this car that I can use to transport you from A to B. Whereas maybe the person you're even buying, you've already invested in the car, but the customer who wants to use the car would feel, no, I can't sit in this kind of car. It's too high. It's too low. Maybe you have a lot of old people in your area and you've gone to buy this, maybe this Pajero Jeep that is very high, and they feel, no, I use crutches, I can't climb it. So it's best for you to, first of all, walk to the customers or your potential customers and ask questions. I'm thinking of, you know, providing transportation for this area. It looks like a lot of people walk. Why do you walk? Is it because it's comfortable? Is it because, you know, and then say, yeah, I don't really like walking. I would have loved something that can take me like 10 times faster, or that can help me get to work really quick. Okay. So then you now begin to probe more until you find exactly what you think they need. Then when you get what they need, at that point, you now say, okay, how about I provide this solution for you? Do you think this would work or that would work? Then the customer would say, okay, I think this would work. And then, you know, you provide a solution in that line. So you don't go buying a car immediately. You can look for a friend and say, sorry, can I borrow that your car? You know, so borrow the car and like, okay, customer, I have this. Can you try this, or would you like to try this? And if it's food, for example, that you're doing, just get a little sample, prepare for the customer and offer it to them. And they might say, yeah, I like this. It's a bit salty, it's a bit spicy, this or that. And then you begin to refine your idea. You begin to refine your idea gradually. And, you know, as you refine your idea, you find out that you get to that point where it's a win-win for you and the potential customer. At this point, it's more or less like an investment stage, just like a woman who is pregnant, you're feeding your body, you know, and you're giving all the best you can to nourish your body. So this time around, you're nourishing your idea. I would liken it to like planting your seed. And at that point, you can't even see the seed. You can't see anything about the plant, but it's working underneath and you're building a very solid foundation for your business, starting with a very small audience. So at this point, I would also mention that every business idea has its own gestation period. So never try to compare your success with the success of someone else. So, for example, if you look at a farmer who is planting corn, the time it takes for a corn to grow and bring forth so many maize or plants or whatever it is just 3 months. But then after that 3 months, all of them die out, the farmer has to plant again. You won't compare that same farmer with a farmer who plants fruit trees. A fruit tree might take a year or more to grow. But once it is established, it keeps producing fruits, in season every year, and the farmer might probably not need to do some work. So what type of idea have you got? What kind of business are you building? So never compare yourself with someone else. Never see someone else's success as your own success. Never compare someone else's success with yours. Everyone have their own path, so just stay in your lane. Before I continue, does anyone have any question from here?
I just wanted to make an observation. So from listening to you so far, what I've learned is the first one is an idea doesn't need you to have a lot of resources, because then they tend to waste. So you just need a little of resources. That's actually like really out of the box for me, because there's always this conception that I need to have enough time, I need to have enough resources, I need to have the environment to start. But then it means when you start with a little of all of that, then you channel it more efficiently into growing that business. And then another thing is that assumption that I should have profit at the beginning, because I think we women always want to put us, I think maybe that's why we have more male CEOs, or because it's like women want to see the rewards now. Like, because when you get pregnant, the tummy gets big and you see it almost, you can see that you're pregnant. And then you are expectant. Whereas for a business,
it's how we're wired, and it's the same way people behave biologically that they behave as entrepreneurs as well. And it's the same reason why sometimes when you find women in CEO positions, they do better than men. Because I think genetically, men are more risk prone. They're more accepting of loss. But women, I think, mainly due to the fact that we have that nurturing element. There's that element of not wanting to risk, not wanting to waste, not wanting to protect, wanting to grow and see that return. So it also fits into I'll give you. It also fits into that behavior of wanting to see a profit immediately, because we don't like to waste, and we don't want to really.
Yeah.
But I'm just observing that we have this pull to want to see the returns now at times. And so most of the businesses, I would say, we would not want to go into are those ones that we feel the returns will take us longer. So there's this dragging of our feet not to go in, because when do I start enjoying the returns?
The returns. Yeah, true. So like you said, some of us are usually like reluctant, when we see, oh, it's going to take me some time or something, and some of us are very tied. We are very sentimental about our ideas. So I would say, I did mention earlier on that, yes, seeds have the potential to become plants, but not all seeds are viable. So sometimes you've got your idea that, oh, wow, but in real sense, it doesn't work. I would ask all of us first, have you ever, maybe listened to someone talk about an idea and you have maybe looked at it objectively and you find out that this idea, there is something, not 100% right with it, but the person believes a lot in it. Have you ever had an experience like that, where you see some missing parts in the idea, but The person doesn't see it.
I think I have. Where someone is so full of a dream about a business. So this is a friend, and I'm seeing that I think they need to grow more, or I'm thinking, oh, I think they need to learn more, because there seems to be some missing links from the idea to actually practically bringing it out. Yeah, I've been there.
Okay, good. So if you imagine someone in that situation, you can also find yourself in that situation. So sometimes it's not because maybe the idea is not viable or it doesn't have that potential. It could just be like there are some missing parts that you're not seeing. And except you look into a mirror, sometimes you can't even see your hair. You can't see your own face. And even sometimes when you're looking at the mirror, you can't see what's behind you, which they call the blind spot. So that's why it's always good to really talk to people and don't be too attached to your ideas. Sometimes, like I did mention earlier on as well, ideas are usually they end up looking very different when the business itself is established. And I'll give you a typical example. The business I'm running now, when I started the business, what was in my head was an online farmers market, right? An online market where farmers can sell their produce, farmers in the community. And I was really passionate about it. And one of the big mistakes I made is not really going to talk to the farmers. I spoke with people, consumers, and yeah, they were like, yeah, we like to buy from the farmers. The supermarkets are ripping off the farmers. Yeah, it's unfair, it's this and that. And good, I felt, yes, this is a good idea. And so I started building this app. And then by the time I finished building the app, it was time to bring the farmers on board. And I started going to the farmers, they'd be like, no. So I had ready buyers, but then the farmers who had to sell were not like forthcoming. And in the process, I now found that I wasn't meeting their pain points because I just assumed that, yes, farmers would want to sell their products. So if they see something, an online space where they can sell their products, they'll be most grateful. But that was a lie. Number one, the farmer was thinking in terms of selling in bulk. The end buyer was thinking of buying in retail. Did I meet that need? Did I meet the need of the farmers?
No.
No, good. So, okay. And then number two, I found out that the farmers themselves, they don't even have that time. They are super busy. Super busy to even look at an online app to say, oh, do I have an order? So they just prefer one person to come, carry the product and just go away because they don't have that time. So I had to, when I discovered that blunder and I had invested, I had to, like, as passionate as I was about that model, I had to,
remodel.
Remodel kind of a thing, and had to pivot that solution to getting in retailers on board, to getting in people who do their business in the local area on board. And that was how we started, gaining movement. So sometimes, yes, you have that solution, but it might not be the ready solution that that person needs at that point in time. So imagine someone bringing food to you and saying, you say, I'm hungry. Yes, you're hungry. And then the person brings food to you. And in your head, you're like, no, this is not what I want to eat. Has that happened to you before? So each time.
Sorry, I just had a comment there. I think one thing that's also coming across to me as you share that is that you would not have understood what the need or the pain point is if you didn't take that initial step with progressing your initial idea.
Exactly.
Although you start maybe the wrong concept, you refined it as you got information.
Exactly. So that's why getting information is super, super important. You need to ask questions. Talk about your idea. I tell you, even the customer you're trying to serve, they know what your solution should be more than yourself. You know, and like I was giving an example. I also found out that farmers, like I said, they don't have that time. And then it was one of them, when I was speaking with them, to say, okay, so how do you think this would work? And what she said is, see, get a hub. You know, we are happy to go and put all our products there, but we don't have that time to be running all around and delivering to houses.
Mm-hmm.
So did I come up with that solution? No. The customer has a solution. The customer knows what they want. So always ask. Start with a small group of people. You don't need to have all the time in the world. Even if it's part-time, you're doing your business full-time, you know, the small time you have, put it aside, ask questions, create a solution, like a tailor-made solution for a few customers, and then build up on them. As you build up on those customers, they help you refine the idea. In fact, they'll be so excited that they're a part of developing this idea that you're bringing forward, whether it's starting a shop, whether it's whatever it is, you're starting a boutique, you know, ask them, what kind of dress do you like to wear? What do you think would be good? You know, fine, you get so many, but you also have to be able to like refine and see what is common, the common denominator among all the ideas you're getting from these potential customers, and then use that to strategize. So, and I think another thing I would also mention to you is try to understand how the customers are currently solving their problem. Because you might just be reinventing the wheel or creating something that does not even match the solution they already have. So if you understand how they are currently solving their problem, you will understand the gap and what is not working, or what those solutions they are using is not giving them. And that becomes your own value proposition. So you hear what they say, value proposition, value proposition. So for example, if maybe the restaurants around, you go there, they don't have nice customer service. They have good food, no nice customer service, or they have nice customer service, no good food. And that's the common problem that the customers around you have been complaining about. So your value proposition could be providing you very good food with excellent customer service, making you feel like a king or something like that, you know, and you fill that gap and still provide the solution that those other people in the field are providing. Yes, Betsy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when you just said that, I remember I think it's the in thing now. There's a restaurant around us. It's having, I think it started in America, but they call this restaurant, is it shit? Karen. So it's a Karen restaurant. You know who a Karen is? A typical Karen is someone who whingy, someone who complains. And it's shocking how even my colleagues talk about booking to go to that restaurant. Now, you pay to have shitty service. You pay to have rubbish. You pay to have a steward that will talk to you anyhow. So their waitresses have been trained to insult you. So couples actually pay to go there and get insulted and see the level to which they can push those waiters to insult them, but still be within the law. And I was just thinking, someone came up with that kind of a silly idea, but it's sold. You know, so, and you have to book ahead because so many people want to be there in the night, but they can't. There's a required amount of people they can serve per night. So if you want to go to that restaurant, it means you need to book ahead. You can't just show up like that and go to the restaurant. So yeah, there are those ideas that look as if they are out of the box that we can also think about, that nobody is thinking about. If people can be paying to be served rubbishly or to be insulted in a restaurant where you're expecting, usually you'll be expecting 5-class service, but people are paid. They say that at times, even when they pour your food, they just throw it on the table and say, that's your order, you know, and you're expected to pick it and still say thank you. If you don't say thank you, the waitress is still going to insult you as you pick up the food. The people just go there to catch fun.
That's interesting. Yeah, so that person, you never can tell. It might just be, maybe they've spoken with some people or whatever, and they say, everyone around here is just so nice. Can't we just have a restaurant where you just get this shitty service and, you know, everybody just have fun or something like that. And eventually it turns out to be, you know, a super good idea and makes you different and people know you for that. Yeah, thanks for that contribution. So yeah, so basically that's it. Then what else have I got? Okay, so yeah, we've talked about gathering information from potential customers, and from there you can know who your ideal customer is. You can understand what they really want, how they want their problems to be solved. So yeah, and how they currently solve their problem, what's currently missing. We already talked about that. Then once you have gathered all this information, what would be your next step is to test your solution with a minimum lovable product. And I think I did mention that earlier on. So you don't usually maybe need to invest so much to come up with this. Just come up with something that bridges that gap. You know, it's like you want to develop, for example, a car. A car did not just become a car, you know, overnight. Some people started with bicycles, some people started with what, and kept evolving until it became a car. So I would liken it to be that, okay, for your small customer audience, create something that looks, you know, that can move them from point A to point B, and then keep building on it until you get to that level where they are fully satisfied, but there's always room for it, but there's also room for improvement. And the next one is, I'll say, follow your customers' lead. I think I've mentioned that earlier on. Your customers understand what they need much more than you do. So don't assume that this thing I'm offering will make the customer happy. Ask the customers, ask. It might just be a group of friends. It might be a group of maybe people in your neighborhood. It could just be, you know, just have that sample size. And once those ones are happy, you'll find out that they will be the one recommending people to your business at the end of the day. And from there, if you don't have enough time, serving those small people can help you test run your business idea before you jump out. I've seen people that they were in big corporate positions and they just say, oh, I have this wonderful business idea. This is what is selling. They jump out of the job and then they run into the business and they find out that no, it's a no-go area. And then they have to close the business and go back to look for a job, or things have just gone the wrong way. So with the small time you have, Sandra, you can start something, you know, with your idea really small, with a few number of people, and keep refining it until it becomes, something, you know, that yes, it's now time to scale up. And at that point, I believe even your husband would like, okay, yeah, I think this idea is something that is really viable. And if you end up finding out that, see, the original idea I have is not resonating with my target customers, I don't see any points in trying to push it and, you know, make it or force your solution down their throats. Look for what they really want, you know, which might be a bit different from your initial business idea, but can bring success. So yeah, at this point, I don't know if anyone has any questions. So that's just sharing my thoughts about developing your business ideas from conception to the point of birth. So I'll say, what was the point of birth for your business idea? Once you've tested, it's all working. The point of birth is when, you know, people begin to refer your products, when those who have used your product are happy to now begin to refer your product. Then at that point, you know, yes, this product is ready to be delivered to a wider audience. So that's the point of birth. So not, I have this business and then I go invest everything I have, you know, and then at the end of the day, I find out that nobody needs it. And Sandra, addressing the place where you talked about sometimes you feel you don't have everything it takes, I would say consider a business or yourself as an entrepreneur like a little child who is born, the child never learns all the skills at the same time. It takes time. Initially, that baby would start rolling on the bed. After rolling, the baby will sit up. After sitting up, the baby will gain the skill to crawl. And after crawling, the baby will gain the skill to stand. So when you start your business idea, you know, with this system of managing the conception to birth, all those time and processes of refining, you know, would give you that time to know what exactly, what skill you need. And if you don't have all those skills, it will help you know who you can bring into the business that you can work together to make that business grow. So you don't need to have all the skills to run a successful business. It just starts as you refine, you grow along, you grow with the business, and that's how it works. So I don't know if anyone has any question.
Questions, or people ask questions.
Any questions, contributions, additions, subtraction?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know a lot of you know about Jumia in Nigeria. I'm someone that like to shop online very well. I'm very good at it. So I've always wanted to, okay, let me start an e-commerce business and all that. So I now started working with Jumia, other things for people. And so because of the nature, because I'm in Benue, and it's not every, they didn't have hubs in major, in all the smaller town, because it was mostly Abuja, Port Harcourt and all that. So I was ordering things for people. I was watching to see how customers react with his products and everything. And I discovered that a lot of people wanted to just shop online, but they didn't know how to go about checking for specification of items and all that. So most of the time, I would just help them. I would take my time, do that. Then I would then recommend products that they want to buy. So the process, I was trying to learn, and at the same time, see how customers will react if I start something like that. And so I discovered that when they order online, they will come, they will query, and they, you know, it's their fault that the way they order things. So, but I was taking more time to explain how you order. Imagine somebody ordered for 6 pieces of pot, and he came and he saw 3 pot, like with the cover. And I told him that this cover, plus the cover is a piece, plus the pot and all that. So now, me, I want to start my own now. With this kind of, I didn't even bother doing it because I was afraid of insults, because I remember how we used to get insults from people and all that. But I'm really good. I love it. I love doing it. So in my own case now, how will I don't even know what to do again, but I have seen a gap here in Makurdi, that there are a lot of things people have that, like you said, actually I didn't really talk to people. So to ask questions, because you said we should ask questions, I didn't do that. But I've seen a gap that people have a lot of things to offer, but there is no, how they don't know how to go about doing it. So like, okay, maybe I can be of that person, provide that avenue for the person, for those people that have those products. So I don't know if there's anything that you can tell me to do or what, but it's something I love very well. I love it, and I know how to shop online a lot. So I don't know.
Okay, well, if I were in your shoes, people that I have worked with or maybe helped and had those issues, those quanta and all the rest, I'll ask them questions like, so how would you have preferred that this, that what information would you have loved to be able to like get it right or something like that? I'll try to understand how they think when they shop. So for example, that person said he was thinking he was thinking he was buying 6 pots, whereas he was buying a 2-piece item or something like that.
6-piece item, 6 pieces.
So that means there's a gap in knowledge somewhere. So I'll try to understand that person's thinking so that when I start my own and I'm doing my product description, I'll do it in a way that they understand. So someone like Jumia, because they're pretty big, and that's one of the advantage that small businesses have, because you are closer to the customer, you can understand their pain points the more and refine your own process. So I would ask those people questions, those ones that have those pain points, that are angry, you know. Okay, for example, I know my mom-in-law did mention that she ordered something from Jumia. It was pretty much pricey, but then the quality was horrible. So those are common complaints that people have, but maybe Jumia has not even heard about it. So if I'm bringing people on board on my platform, that means I will be looking for a way to solve that problem that Jumia is not solving for them. And that's what will make a difference. So I might say, okay, rather than bringing the whole Nigeria to my platform, I can decide, okay, maybe I'll bring in just maybe people in, for example, Lagatu local governments in Benue or Makurdi to my platform, those ones that I know that, yes, I can verify and scrutinize what they are doing. Or rather than say, for example, maybe your product is coming from Lagos and you can't verify easily what quality it is. I might say, okay, I want people from the local area to shop with one another so that if you put in a bad product out there, you have a bad name for yourself already. So it all depends on, there are different ways to go about it, but just ask questions. Those people who have that problem, ask them how they would have loved that, how they would have loved to have that service that they are complaining about. They will tell you. That's the funny thing. And you'll be so surprised at the kind of solutions they might come up with. They might not come up with that solution in a way that, what's it called now? In a way that you think, or that will be as, you know, tech savvy as it should be. But if you put the puzzles together, you can get it. Yes, Betsy.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted us to really brush this morning or this evening, depending on where you are, is the issue of next steps. And Dorothy, referring to your question, your next steps would be, what do you really want? Do you want to own your own online store? Or do you want to use that opportunity to become a middleman between Jumia and the consumers? Just like our sister shared before, she had to find retailers, or she had to now approach retailers, whereas before she was thinking of straight from the farmers to the consumers. She realized that the farmers were more interested in giving it out in bulk. So looking for that gap, the gap you have seen, how do you want to maximize it? Do you want to maximize it by owning your online store and doing it better than Jumia? Or approaching Jumia and saying, Jumia, I've noticed this is how I can help. And then Jumia pays you to be that middleman between them and Benue people who might be afraid of actually going on Jumia because they don't know how to navigate the app or the website. So your next step could be maybe thinking, okay, if you want to own your own business, how do you build an online store? So you don't think too far, but you think of how do I get to have my own online store? Because you can actually have an online store in Benue there, because you are not concerned with the whole big world yet. You want to start small. And so if you're having that idea in mind, then it means you can do it. You can just start with just like she mentioned, just that Western, what do they call us? Middle belt, just that middle part of Nigeria alone, you know, and from there you can grow. Because when you look at Jumia, companies like Jumia, the reason why they are so, well, I say popular is because they went into online marketing when we didn't have any of that in Nigeria. It's not as if they are the best that we can have, but because with all that we have now, all that we know, with eBay not being available to Nigerians, the best we always think about is actually just Jumia, but they're not the best we can have. You know, honestly, I would like to see that we think that big, because actually it's not even looking like thinking big, because we already have the template to use and work. So the next step for you might be, how do I build an e-commerce? And there are people that build websites in Nigeria. We have Nigerians that are better about this, on handling these things than even people out here. It's just that they don't know where to channel their own gift. So you might be looking for somebody there, maybe who knows how to do IT world and build websites.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Let me just say something quickly. Like we are saying something about whether I wanted to build my own or just be a middleman. like I was doing that already for Jumia, because I got to a level of a captain, and then any item you sell, you get paid for it. So, but now for some years now, I've not ordered any goods till last year when they're doing Black Friday. The Black Friday eating is a new thing in Nigeria, so people really go crazy for that. So, because the products are not longer, I don't know where they get their vendors these days. It's not what it used to be again. So I had to stop selling things for my customers and all that. So I'm like, okay. Then I noticed here people like to buy native things very well, but I remember we did a program, the US Embassy did a program. I went there to sell stuff from Benin, and people really bought it. So I'm like, so if I do this thing, it's buy you. You understand? So I'm thinking about building my own, but like I said, it's the startup is this thing that is very, very difficult for me. And then I pitched my idea to somebody in the government, and next thing somebody else tried to start up the business in Makurdi here. But just like you said, someone can see your idea, but you are the one that have the vision. So they can just do, and they get to a point they will not be able to go further again.
True, very true. And that's one reason why I don't think, I don't think you should keep your ideas to yourself, as it were, because in the process of, for me, it's better to pitch your ideas. And at the end of the day, not, of course, it's not like you'll be pitching it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes around, but pitching it to the right people in the sense of your potential customers, talking to them about it, understanding what they really want and all the rest of it. So, but if you keep it to yourself and you just say, oh, let me cook the food in one corner, and after cooking the food, I will serve it. You feel like that food, nobody will eat it all. So yeah.
Which is another next step. Who is that person that might understand your vision? If you find someone that has the same vision as you do, you find that the two of you will just click. And it's like, if you need to walk 1,000 miles somewhere and there's someone who is living like 500 miles from you, and that person has the same vision as you, discover that the person only needs to walk 500 miles for you guys to get to that destination that you want. So another thing is, with building a business, you need to find people who have a similar vision as you do, because it is vision bearers that when they come in, they bear a huge cost of it without you feeling the trouble, because they also are looking for you. You too, you are looking for them. So maybe your next step will be finding a vision bearer that will actually understand that gap with you, and two of you could come together, or three of you or four of you could come together and then just switch into active mode and bring your idea into reality.
Yeah, true. But that's a big topic for
another day. Yeah, I had to stop.
There are a lot of things like
yeah,
between that to here and there, but yeah, that's something worth thinking about, especially for if you're thinking of starting an e-commerce business and you think, oh, I don't have the tech skills and I don't have the money to build. Yes, looking for someone with a like vision is very important, because you find that a lot of tech people, for example, they have the tech knowledge, but they don't have the marketing side of things. They don't have the business side of things. So they can build these products, but it just sits there. But once they find someone who is a business, who has high business acumen, and they can just sit back in their lab and do what they want to do, and you just, push it, then they are very happy to partner. But then, of course, a lot of things also comes into partnership, co-founding, and all the rest of it. So yeah, but it's definitely 100% workable.
Any other question in the house? I want to stop recording now so that people can ask